Sonata Software seems to be in full swing, with the counter gaining almost 50% in last 1 month. The street seems to be cheering the counter after company posted highest ever EBITDA margins in the September quarter of almost 12.8%. Let's find out road ahead whether the company can sustain these kind of margins or not. Joining us now on the show is the Chief Financial Officer of the company, Mr. Prasanna. Prasanna, good morning to you, and thanks a lot for joining us today on Bloomberg Quint. The stock price has seen substantial gains in last 1 month. Before I go on to any specific questions on the developments in the company, I just want to check, is there anything happening? What's the reason? Is there any development that has led to this upside in the stock price?
Thanks. I guess it's probably the market recognizing some of the results that have happened. So I think it's been 2 quarters of good growth. We had about 7% the previous quarter, about 11% this quarter. So I think overall, it's probably the market is rewarding on the growth. So there's nothing specific, separate news, etc.
Okay, Prasanna, in the technology sector, or rather the technology infrastructure segment specifically, we've been speaking to a lot of your other peers, and they suggest that there has been a delay in decision making from clients. Quite clearly, it really hasn't transpired as much for your company. But can you tell us a little more about what you have been hearing from your clients, especially when it comes to this segment?
We have been having interactions with the clients, and this is the build-up across the last 2-3 years, where we said that we will have IP-led growth, and digital transformation for the clients is of primary importance. So clients are recognizing the fact that we ourselves have our own offering called as Platformation, which enables this digital transformation. And as we have been in touch with the clients and showing them a way, on this growth, we are seeing far more interaction. So we are not really seeing clients shying away on taking decisions or more clients talking to us. We are in fact seeing an appreciation of what we are proposing, and I think that is translating to far more conversions and the conversations and the pipeline. We are not really seeing any delay as such, as you mentioned.
Prasanna, the brokerage reports mentioned post the September quarter, there's been a bit of business mix that one has seen, because of which the margins have seen an upward trajectory of almost 12.8%. I want to ask, will these margins sustain? Because I guess you're focusing on high margin business, and the focus now is not on the top line, because the domestic business in the September quarter saw a downtick of over 50%.
Right. So, Navneet, just to kind of make it clear, there are 2 separate segments that we have. One is the domestic business, and we don't typically measure that on the top line. We measure that on the margins. So even as there has been a decrease in the revenues, we are seeing that there is an uptake in the margin percentage, as also that we have managed to hold the absolute numbers. So that's a business we measure on the margins. And one of the reasons for the downtick was one of the orders which got deferred just before September. That has already come in now. So we should see it being back on the even keel and growth as we go ahead. Secondly, that same business is also having far more offerings in terms of the other value-added services that we provide, which means licensing, which means consulting on security aspects. And that is gaining traction from the client. So that is the part of the digital side of the business, or the digital infrastructure services group, as we call it, which is a domestic business. On the other side, which we call as the international business, where we are working across 4 verticals, and those are on the travel side, retail side, distribution side, and the ISV side, along with the horizontals. We are continuing to offer differentiated services in terms of the IPs and the digital transformation that we're talking to our clients about. One of the reasons for the increased margin is that not only have we increased the billability and the utilization, but we are seeing a better realization from the clients in terms of the revenues that we get for the same kind of services and offerings that we have. So that is the reason for the margins. Yes, if we were to look at sustainability, we believe we have a strong story. There's gaining traction with the clients. Clients are buying this. So yeah, and while we don't give forecasts, but we believe that this appreciation would lead to revenues and thereby also an increase in the margins.
I don't want any figure or guidance, but just want to check, will you be able to sustain these margins?
We believe so in a way that if we look, our EBITDA for the international services business has been in the range of about 20 to 23%. We believe that a lot of the investments that we've made in our IPs or the product development in terms of our marketing and sales, in terms of hiring senior management to join in, as also some of the salary hikes have already been baked into the system. So we believe that we are in a fairly good position. Yes, there can be unknowns which are there, but by and large we would expect that we would be able to carry on the same momentum.
My last question, Prasanna, there's cash on books of almost 180 crore. What are you planning to do with it?
Yeah, probably it's in the range of about 280, 270 crores. No, I mean, we have, as is our practice, we've declared healthy dividends. We also have appetite for mergers and acquisitions. So we continue to look at companies in our area of interest, which would be on the AX side in terms of IP-led, in our verticals of choice. And so we are open for acquisitions and we continue to look out for that. We have appetite for that. So we believe that a part of that would be used for the acquisitions.
Okay, Prasanna, thanks for joining us and taking us through the numbers as well as the outlook for your company.